What's happening, YouTube? It's your homie S. Dot coming back to you with another video. And today's video is going to be a quick one. Leading into the Energon Invitational this weekend at PAX Unplugged, we're going to talk about things you can do to prevent yourself from going into time. Now, before I get into talking about that, shout out to anybody that's coming out this weekend. Definitely look forward to meeting anybody new, and of course, re-talking to people that I've talked to in the past and met at Origins and at Gen Con. Now, safe travels to anybody that's taking a bus. I've seen somebody taking a bus, like a 23-hour bus ride. Shout out to you. Anybody flying, of course, and anybody taking those long drives or whatever, definitely be careful. Be aware of these asshole drivers out here. You always got to watch out for the next person. You might be a great driver, but that doesn't mean the next person is. So be careful out there. Want everybody to get here safe, and so we can go to war and have a great first Energon Invitational. So with that, let's jump right into the topic of the video. So jumping right into it, a couple things I want to talk about before I literally get into the list. And it's not really necessarily a list, but it's like kind of an order of operations of how things are going to end up going down and things you can do at each step to prepare yourself to not go into time. So realize that a couple of things. We just got Wave 4, right? Wave 4 came with sabotage armaments, hidden fortification, and these cards that really sincerely help blue decks out, right? Press the advantage is banned, so Decepticons are on the rise. And Decepticons, a lot of them are really good blue strategies or whatever that weren't able to hang because of press the advantage, except for your boy Shockwave. Realize that potentially the format's going to be slower. If you play against another blue player, like I said, I've had 5 or 6 decks built, and most of them, 4 or 5 of them are all blue. I think I've built one completely orange deck, or I want to say max orange deck, like kind of like bugs or whatever. I mean, I will build bugs to test against, or I have built bugs to test against. But besides that, I haven't built the actual orange deck that I would want to play. So, but that's neither here or there. The biggest thing is, like I said, with the format being potentially blue on blue, and or format starting off blue because normally it starts off orange, is so these blue on blue matchups could take forever. You could like hidden fortification, and then he plays sparring gear, and then you play your sparring gear, and then he plays extra padding ×2 on his other guy, and it's like nobody's ever doing damage. Now, of course, cards like sturdy javelin, arm hovercraft, and marksmanship, and potentially one shot stand, one shot fall, I could still definitely see in play this weekend, will be very critical into breaking through those blue players' defenses. And again, like those blue on blue matchups, you need to make sure you're side decking or main decking, your smelts, your potential vaporizers, or enforcement batons, or maybe side deck a bashing shield, or in your blue deck to make sure you break through your opponent's defenses. You don't want to focus so much on defending yourself that you don't interrupt your opponent. Interruption is one of the biggest, most important things of any card game that I've ever played, and it's definitely, of course, the game was always, okay, I'm going to do my turn, then you do your turn. The game needs to evolve. It has evolved with secret actions, and definitely, like I said, with we have cards like UFO with Shockwave, Disruptive Entrance, Espionage, etc. Interrupting your opponent is going to be very critical to helping you reach victory. One of the biggest things you can do to prevent yourself from going into time is simply knowing your deck. Now, this has been talked about in the past plenty of times. If you know your deck, you know the reps of your deck, you're not second guessing for too long on every single one of your plays. Because the more and more you do that, the longer it takes before you know it. We only have 50 minutes per round, so that's something you definitely want to be aware of. Gonna kind of diverge from that for a second. Something to also realize is stress. Stress is gonna be a thing, for all of us more than any other tournament. This year, this is our Super Bowl. Thing is, we have 2 rounds of constructed, right? 3 rounds of sealed. Then 6 more rounds of constructed. Especially in those seal rounds, you want to try to build your deck to the best of your ability. If you've been practicing, that's good. Keep in mind, just because you pull a super rare doesn't mean anything. Sergeant Springer is a common, and that card is very good. So if you pull Sergeant Springer, please play it. If you pull Astro Train, please play it. The list goes on. So, and they're both commons. Well, commons and uncommons. One of them is uncommon. Lockdown is very good. He's not a super rare. So it's not I chalked it up when I first heard about Seal to, okay, somebody pulls the big General Optimus, the Galaxy Optimus from Wave 4, I'm just going to lose, right? Well, no, it's not that simple. You're not able to play a heavy blue deck. If your deck is slanted more towards blue and like over half your deck is blue, you're a god at pulling, and you just got really lucky on your RNG for your packs. Good for you. If your deck's heavily slanted orange, good for you. I'm saying that to say, out of the 4 times I've done Seal, my decks were mixed. I pulled Major Shockwave in one of my events, and the deck was mostly like black and it was just mixed. It was very mixed, and mostly black icons. So, like a lot of games, of course, I took a lot of damage than I would normally take in constructed because, of course, the deck wasn't heavy blue. So it's not that simple to just pull a super rare. There are a lot of hidden potential, little mini combos and stuff with like, especially the smaller characters to play like wider teams or whatever with a big guy. So definitely pay attention to that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you have any friends that have played sealed, make sure you ask them to get any tips from them. But saying all that to say, you don't want to have any stress of going into time with any of those rounds, especially the sealed rounds. It's going to be very hard to get into the top 8. Keep in mind that prize payout is from from first place all the way through 32nd. So when they cut standings at the end of round 9, if you're in 9th through 32nd place, wherever you're placed at, I'm assuming that's how the payout's going to be. But then for top 8 on, the payout will go as you lose. And of course, if you keep winning, then you just get the grand prize. But yeah, you don't want that to be you. Like I said, being the one that's unfortunately you're going to have some opponents that are going to be a little slower. So you don't want you to also be slow, and then all of a sudden you're going into time. And I've played fast, before myself, and still played against slow players, unfortunately. And as much as I suggest to other people that they should potentially, hurry their opponent up in a polite way, however your polite way of saying that is. I myself don't do that. And why, I don't know. I kind of just let them do whatever they do. And then it's like, oh, we're about to go to time. That sucks. I need to stop doing that because I go into time a little too often for how I let it be. So just definitely keep that in mind. Like I said, know your deck. That's one of the biggest things. And let's go from there. Next up, I want to talk about something that's in conjunction with knowing your deck. So when you get into a tournament, your side deck. Side decking consists of your 10 battle cards and then your 1 character card. Now, one of the biggest things you can do for yourself is to legit know what cards you want to side in and out. The cards that you're putting in your side deck, why are you putting those in your side deck? What your main deck can't potentially beat or something. So if you're playing an orange deck and you're only playing 1 bashing shield, you would side deck a second bashing shield versus a blue deck, right? Not versus an orange deck. Or you may put it in versus an orange deck because you expect the medics field or force field or whatever. You side in 2 work overtimes because you're playing against Shockwave or Shockwave's potential to be there. So you run into Shockwave, you side in 2 work overtimes, but what are you taking out? Have an idea of what cards you're going to take out. Sometimes it's going to be matchup dependent and it's going to be player dependent because they might be playing a specific card. This Shockwave player might not be playing a card that the other Shockwave player is playing, so you might not side in X card or whatever. But work overtime is always going to be 2 cards you side in. What 2 cards in your deck don't work well against blue Shockwave? Whatever those cards might be, those are 2 cards you automatically want to take out. So definitely try to get a grasp and speed up on your side decking process because that's a big deal in it too. Side decking doesn't stop a clock on you. We don't all have our own 50-minute timers. Side decking doesn't stop the clock on you specifically. So your 50 minutes still entails with you side decking in between each round. So you don't want to take more than maybe a minute or 2, maybe 3 minutes to side deck and get into the next game. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing with that is in your side deck. If you have a transitional side deck, I've been notorious for making transitional side decks and slapping it together and just assuming it'll work. And then I'll go into the tournament and I'm taking forever to know exactly what I want to take in and out, and some of it doesn't even make sense. So I've done that like once or twice, not a million times, but the point is I've done it. So learn from my mistakes and don't do that and just think it's going to be all simple and smooth. What I want to talk about is simply looking at the timer. A lot of people get so caught up and focused in the game that they don't look at the timer. I do see a good bit of players look at the time and they'll turn around and tell their opponent, hey, we got 33 minutes left and we're still in game 1. Hey, we got 25 minutes left or whatever. Something to definitely pay attention to. Now, you will have small situations where you may run into a player that, it might be hard to tell because it might look like they're so focused into the game and trying to think and this and that. But especially if you watch their body language and you watch them watching the time, one of your biggest tells is seeing somebody that watches the time and then still plays slow. If you see the timer and you see that you got 25 minutes left or let's say 35 minutes left and you're still in game 1, there's 15 minutes into game 1. Ideally, you would like each of your games to take maybe 15, maybe 20 minutes, if you have to go to 3 games. So if you see your opponent looking back at the time and then they still legit play slow, that may be something to call a judge about because they could be trying to potentially okay, I may not be able to win this, but at least if we draw, I won't lose. Well, there's a couple of things wrong with that. First of all, that's morally wrong. Second of all, ties aren't going to be that great with us only cutting the top 8. We're only cutting the top 8. So let's say 100 people show up. Your record, and me and Dan from Back to Sigma have talked about this for a good bit, and it's like you need to be at least 8-1 or 8-0-1, maybe 7-1-1 might get you in there because talking about the 9 rounds. So you got the stress from the seal rounds. Hopefully you can go 3-0 in that. That's like I think that's really going to be the fire to jump through. The constructed I'm comfortable with. The sealed is what I'm worried about, but there's really nothing you can do about it. Like I was talking to Vector Sigma guys about it, and I've heard other people mention it's really nothing you can do. Like if they pull I won't say necessarily better than you. You work with what you got, and you just chalk it up to the variance, and you just kind of just shrug it off, and it is what it is. One of the other biggest things you can do is just, like I said, watching the timer, and that's going to help you out a lot, because you can just kindly let your opponent know, hey, we got 33 minutes left. We're still in game one. I really don't want to go into time. You really don't want to be the person. You don't want to go into time at all in this tournament. It's going to be hard enough to cut in the top 8, and then yeah, that's just the biggest thing to definitely pay attention to. So if anybody has any other tips or anything that I missed, I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know why, but those are the biggest 3 I could think of to that I've used in the past to definitely prevent myself from going into time. Me, naturally, there will be some turns where I might take a while because like my turn is like really calculated. It's like, should I play this arm hovercraft or should I play this marksman, or not marksmanship, but 1 or 2 upgrades, and it really matters with your sequences because like, well, okay, this character's not attacking this turn, so I don't need to put this armor on him if he's not attacking this turn to give them a chance to bash and shield me the turn I'm not even attacking. And then I've talked about this in another video. So like one little thing that I do that helped me win Origins was a big thing was 2 things: security checkpoint and playing my armor. So I would only play my sparring gear on Optimus Prime when he's attacking. If I play it on him the turn he's not attacking and Flame War's attacking, if they have bash and shield, they can bash and shield my sparring gear right then and there. That makes me have to have another armor on that next turn. If I don't, when Optimus goes to attack, they can now play grenade launcher and supercharge and wreck face on Optimus. But if I play the sparring gear on the turn that Optimus is attacking, if they play bashing shield, then that means they can't play grenade launcher or whatever unless they're playing new designs, which they're probably not. So if they play bashing shield supercharge, that's not as bad as grenade launcher supercharge, because Optimus will be able to defend decently with Flame War giving the tough one, and go from there. So that's something to definitely think about. And the other one was security checkpoint. There will be times where I would literally manipulate my hand. Sometimes I would have to sacrifice a upgrade or 2 out of my hand, but it was for the greater good. So when my best character would attack, or the character that I really didn't want to get bashing shield, early game it's very easy for an orange player to draw improvised shield and obviously pitch it for whatever green they see, even if it's a bashing shield. Why would you not get it? It's a green. Gets the improvised shield out of your hand to recycle back into the deck on the next reshuffle, right? Okay, so they have it in their hand. You've known they have had it in their hand for the past 2 or 3 turns. Now your best character is attacking. Play the armor, then play security checkpoint that turn. Try to manipulate your hand to where you're able to play your upgrades as best as possible. Sometimes I'll potentially trade green actions from my flips for my upgrades in my hand, so my hand is molded to more actions than upgrades. So when I play the security checkpoint, I'm revealing all actions. They're hopefully revealing bash and shield and grenade launcher and something else, and you're getting some good value out of it. So that's one of the biggest things that help me win a tournament. Sometimes I see people, even when they do, even if I have an all action hand, if none of my other actions are good enough to play, I just might activate that security checkpoint. But if I definitely have another action I can play, like one-shot stand, a plasma burst, or whatever, in whatever deck I'm playing, I'm going to try my best to play that card and try to get some value out of it until I, like I said, attack with my best character. Now, again, that isn't always the situation, but at the same time, it really helps a lot. Playing sparring gear and then playing security checkpoint, you're at least getting bash and shield, and then if you get whatever else, it's just icing on the cake. And then it forces them to have flip another bash and shield on their defense when Optimus or whoever attacks, and their draw. So if they have to have their draw, they have their defensive flips, they have their draw for the turn, and then if they have treasure hunt, that's the only other out. But if they play in treasure hunt to grab a bash and shield, if they grab it and play bash and shield, that's very weak because you break my armor, but then you're only attacking for whatever your base attack is. So yeah, that's one thing I've learned over time. One other thing you can do that's actually a pretty big one, I said actually like 2 or 3 times just now, but actually, what you really need to also pay attention to, imagine yourself being 3-wide prime, and I always use 3-wide prime as an example, but you're playing a deck or whatever, and your last character has 3 health. You're playing against bugs, and you're playing against bugs, and they have barrage in the field already, usually their last standing Insecticon, and they play I Still Function on kickback. Go to game 2 or game 3. Go to if it's over, you just do the whole thing, and you may live, but you probably won't. Let's be real. But if you have like 2 or 3 health left, what I'm getting at is scoop up your cards. If you're in any situation where you see that you cannot win, you need to know what your outs are. What can you see? You don't need to. This is not a tournament to, oh, well, let's see how the game goes, and I may still win or whatever. Oh, I just want to see I'm not going out without a fight, and I've seen people, they're optimists. I'll take you all on, and no, that's going to hurt you more than it's going to help you trying, doing that. Not this tournament. In casual play, sure, But if you're in a situation where if I flip one blue, I live, okay. But when you're in situations when you're getting attacked by multiple bots and you clearly only have 2 health left, it might not seem like a lot, but scoop the game up. Scooping the game up and getting to the next game, you want to save in as much time as possible. I've seen games where I was going to lose maybe 4 or 5 turns before I actually would lose the game. But seeing where the game was going and like, or better yet, let's say your big bot is gone. If I'm playing Octone and my Octone is gone and I just have Flame War versus their best guy who still has 10 health and I'm gonna suck if he got 10 health left, but 10 health and their medium-sized guy, Flame War is not going to win that battle. Let's be real. Like, in those situations where you just have Flame War left or a small guy left versus their big guy and a medium guy, scoop your cards up and move on to game 2 or 3. It will help you out in the long run. You literally waste 2 or 3 minutes trying to find bigger they are or find something and it's going to take you multiple turns to continuously find those cards. Your main strategy is dead. Your big guy is dead, so Flame War is not going to win the battle. I'm sorry, Flame War. I love Flame War, but she's not going to win the battle versus, like I said, a big and a medium guy bot, doing their thing. So it's just not going to happen. And then, she has tough 1 or whatever, but just don't keep that dream alive. Not in this tournament. It's not a good look. And it's not a good look for your potential record because you could potentially go into time for it. And you'll definitely be scratching your head like, why did I go into time? So that's a big one I definitely see a lot. If you see that the game is over and you're not going to be able to win, your opponent, as soon as they go to play that grenade launcher or they go to play whatever, that right play, if your bot has 10 health left, obviously you're not going to scoop the game. But if your guy has 2 health left and they just bash and shield you and you have no armor, the most you're going to defend for, and talking about a blue deck, the most you're going to defend for is 4, maybe 5, or maybe a little bit more than that if you flip a white to extend it to your flips. But overall, like I said, if you see that the game is lost, ultimately just scoop the game, and it will benefit you more than it will hurt you in the long run. So with that, nothing more to really say about this video. I hope this video is catching you in a good time. If you're on the way to PAX Unplugged and you're watching this video, I'm glad I can help you get through, the last 15 or so minutes. But those are some things to definitely pay attention to. If you come up with anything else, definitely, like I said, comment down below. Commenting down below will definitely help other people that read through the comments to see oh yeah, okay, I didn't think about that. S-Dot didn't say that, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, I feel like I'm missing something. But those are the 3 biggest things. Like I said, make sure you know in your deck. They all kind of seem obvious and you feel like, well, why wouldn't you do that? You'd be surprised. And I've been a culprit of doing some of these myself. The time thing, like I said, I play pretty fast myself. There might be some turns where I'll take some time to, it's like a really calculated turn, but it catches up to itself because overall, most of the match I've been playing fast. Most of my turns I don't want to say I know exactly what I'm doing, but I play faster than usual, so I'm able to kind of speed things up. So, yeah. With that, good luck to anybody that's coming to PAX Unplugged this weekend. It's war time. It's about time. Wave 4 has been forever to finally get here. It's finally here. The Energon Edition came out yesterday, so if they're not sold out by now, shout out to WOTC for releasing Energon Edition. That is on their website or on the Hasbro website, I want to say. You get holo battle cards. I know I'm excited for the Start Your Engines, Ion Blasters, holographic. Our first battle cards holographic, so that's going to be cool. Keep in mind the Tandem targeting system and all out attacks are coming separately in the mail with a nice little card they said they made for us, so that's going to be cool. I did get one myself, so I got that coming in, so definitely can't wait to crack that open. And all the characters, Slipstream, Cliff Jumper, all the best characters, most sought-after characters from Wave 1, Megatron, Nemesis Prime. Definitely in the alternate artwork. I can't talk. Artwork. I sound like a seal now. It's definitely really cool. So shout out to the whole WLTC team. Can't wait to see everybody. Safe travels, and you guys know what it is. Good luck. It's time to go. Be prepared. It's going to be a war zone. I'm coming prepared, so bring your A game. It's about that time. You know what it is. This is S-Dot, DefTF. You guys have a great day and or a great night whenever you're seeing this video. Peace.